Lesson planning is probably the task that takes up most of a teacher's time. Well, grading takes a lot of time, and all those meetings that could have been an email. We'll call it a tie. Anyway, what if I told you this one thing could keep you from lesson planning day to day? That's exactly what I'm doing in this video. If you're new here, I'm Rachel Vincent, and I love sharing ways to help you simplify your classroom and your teaching. So before we get started, I do want to say that I am required by my district to turn in lesson plans weekly. So even though this process will save you from planning day to day, it's not a magic pill to make your district to stop requiring you to turn in weekly lesson plans, but I am right there with you. In all my 19 years of teaching, I have always been required to turn in weekly lesson plans. So if you are in the same company as me, hit that like button. Let me know that I'm not the only one that is required to turn in those lesson plans. The secret is to plan by unit. This helps you know what you are doing each day, how long your units will take, and how many weeks you will need to teach something. It will help you know when your assessments are going to be weeks ahead of time and exactly what you will be grading each unit. Let's head to the computer so I can show you step by step how to create unit plans. In a blank Word, it's not Word, it is a Google Doc. You can do it in Word, you can do it on paper, whatever works best for you. This works for any type of subject. I am going to share with you my next writing unit because we are doing a new research topic. Our science standards changed, so we can no longer research the planets. I mean, we could, but we're trying to integrate our science and social studies standards into our ELA. So we are doing a whole new research unit, but this works with any type. So just label your unit. So this is going to be our research unit, and then you're going to enter a table for however many weeks you think it will take. So I'm going to do 5 o'clock cross because there's 5 days in our school, and then I know it'll take us about 2.5 weeks to do a writing unit. That's typically how long it takes us. So I am going to do 3 weeks and then give it a little space, and I will adjust as we go. And actually I'm going to insert, just to make it a little easier on myself, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I am not going to label dates because that would go into like my daily lesson plans and weekly lesson plans that I'm required to write. And we all know that things change each year as far as what date, and so this just keeps me from having to really update this a whole lot. What I typically like to do is start with the end and work my way toward the beginning, or sometimes I start at the end then jump to the beginning and work towards the middle. I know that we will probably share our writing here, and this is where if it was not a writing unit and it was like a math unit or science unit, this would be where I would put my final assessment. And then typically the day before would be reviewing for the assessment. But here we are finishing our publishing, and then this is publishing day where everybody is typing their final copy. I know it takes our students typically 2 days. I have a lot of students who can finish this first day, and then they will sort of go back and make sure everything looks nice and neat, and sometimes they just go in and work on independent writing assignments. But I typically need 2 days for my entire class to get through their publishing so that we can share. Sometimes sharing takes 2 days. It just sort of depends how much time I have. So I'm going to put this here just in case we need extra time, because I think my students are really going to enjoy this topic. We are researching natural disasters and extreme weather. This is where I'm going to kind of work backwards. So before publishing, I know we need a revising and editing day, and then let's see, because this is our first research, nonfiction, informational writing, we're going to need to use this day to talk about titles and subheadings, because they sometimes are not as creative until you teach them how to be creative and how to do it. One thing I really enjoy with my writing units is I will work along with them on a different topic. So like when we did our research, I always researched Pluto since it's technically not a planet anymore, and so I would do all the research with them and model. So I will probably do the same thing, maybe with like, I don't know, something simple, maybe just a thunderstorm, and let them all have the more interesting topics. So then this is where I will model how to write a conclusion, and then they will work on that. This will be body paragraphs. I will do a little bit of modeling here, but this is just, they just need time to write those, because the day before we will talk about how to turn facts into paragraphs. And on Friday, I think, is when I'll model how to write an introduction, because this pretty much, these first 4 days will all be research days. So this will be the intro lesson, intro to informational writing. This next day will be how to take notes. I do give them a guided research paper where it has the questions they're trying to answer, but really just how to take notes, how to read the information and turn it into notes, because I don't want them copying. And that's what we'll talk about on this day: quoting, quotes, paraphrasing, and then this day we'll talk about writing our own words. So this will really just be all research. So hopefully by giving them 4 days of classwork time to do their research, they'll be ready to start their actual writing with their introduction on Friday. So this will take us pretty much here. And of course, I rarely will start a new unit on a Friday. So this will probably be a free write day. And so this is really simply how I quickly take what I need to teach and turn it into a unit. So I know that this unit's going to last me 3 weeks. If I was lucky enough to not have to turn in weekly lesson plans, I feel like this would be my lesson plans at this point. I'll probably put some links in, because I will create a slideshow that goes along with this, so that when I'm teaching my mini lessons, I have information to give them. I've done that before with our opinion unit and our narrative unit, so I will do the same thing with this unit. Of course, like I said, I will be modeling how to do this. I typically do it in a document camera. I just find it easier than doing it on an anchor chart, and I will model all of these steps. I'll actually model the entire thing, because researching is hard for 4th graders. I know they do it in 3rd grade, and I think that's probably their first real introduction to it. And then we want to take it a step further, where they're learning how to take information and put it in their own words, and making sure we quote and paraphrase correctly and all those types of things. Having a unit plan allows you to easily see what you're going to put in more detail in those required lesson plans. It helps you know what copies you need to make ahead of time. It allows you to be able to gather materials and resources, so you're not doing it the day of a lesson. And if you are one of the lucky teachers that do not have to turn in weekly lesson plans, these can be your lesson plans. So how do you know how long each unit should last? What comes next after this unit? What time of the year should you be teaching this unit? Watch the video that's on your screen, and I will share my exact process of how to plan out an entire year.